Welcome to the Membership Guys podcast. Kick-ass advice and tips for membership site owners.
Welcome one and all. Thank you for downloading the latest episode of the Membership Guys podcast. I'm your host, Mike Morrison, and this is the show in which we talk all things membership site related. Strategy, tips, advice, rants, ramblings, you name it, we've got it. And in today's show, we're tackling an area that a lot of people struggle with. That's actually a pretty difficult area for some people, and that is, how do you determine from the content that you're creating what should be free content and what should be paid content, either as a paid standalone course or as part of your membership site. And the reason that this is an area so many people struggle with is simply because there's no real right or wrong answer. The line between free content and paid content is always moving, and some people will advocate that you give all of your best content away, while others will tell you to keep all of that good stuff locked away behind your membership site or inside your online course. So it's very difficult to know which way to turn. When you're creating content, you know that it's good, but you don't know, is this good enough to put into my membership site as member exclusive content, or have I just written a really good blog article? Now, in some cases, the difference between what you offer for free and what you offer paid is obvious. For most people, a 5-minute podcast is quite clearly free content, and a 5-hour-long course is quite clearly paid membership-only content. Now, if you're Seth Godin, or if you're some other major industry influencer or celebrity or bigwig, then obviously there's more of a premium on those 5-minute long podcasts. Particularly, we give Seth Godin as an example there. For someone like Seth, who doesn't actually put out a great deal of lengthy free content. You know, Seth Godin isn't putting up videos on YouTube, isn't putting out podcasts, isn't blogging these massive long how-to articles on his blog day in, day out. So when Seth Godin offers a 5-minute long podcast, then there's going to be a higher value attributed to that. So he could very well include that in a paid membership site. But for you and I, then that's often not going to be the case. So like we said, in a lot of cases, the difference is obvious, but there are certainly situations and there's certainly circumstances, topics, markets, what have you, where it's a little bit more blurred. The key really is to remember that as a membership site owner, you're not selling content. You're selling solutions to a problem. Now, that solution may involve content, it may involve courses, it may involve ebooks, it could involve videos, audios, what have you, but all of that's just a conduit through which you provide the solution to a problem. So while it might be content, it might be a tool or a piece of software or a resource or some downloads. It might just be community or support. It might not actually be content at all. The content side of things may just be supplementary to the actual solutions that you're providing. Now, when it comes to free content, you're kind of doing the same. You're kind of still providing solutions to a problem. It's just the problems that you're addressing are typically smaller in scope, or the solutions that you're providing are typically either broader. So you may be providing a broad glimpse or a surface level amount of coverage of the solution. Either that, or maybe just drilling down into one very small specific part of the problem. You typically won't be going massively in depth. And quite often your free content will cover the what, it'll cover the why of a particular strategy or technique or approach or situation, but it'll not necessarily delve into the how. So as an example, on the Membership Guys blog, we have a full review of MemberPress, which is one of our favorite pieces of software. We go in and out the different features that it has, why that may be beneficial to you as a membership site owner, why we really like it, and why certain features help you on the strategy and the marketing side. but we don't actually go so far as to show you step by step how you would then install and set up and configure that software on your membership site. We do have a course that does exactly that, but that's within our paid membership site. So again, there through the review that we're providing of this piece of software, we're giving you the what, we're telling you what MemberPress is, what it can do, we're giving you the why these features are so good, why they're beneficial, why you may want to use that software. But when it comes to the how of using that software, that's kept for our paying members. So in most cases, that's the kind of divide that you'll have, and that's the distinguishing factor between your free content and your paid content. And often your paid content will not only be more in depth, it'll also sometimes be tailored specifically to a portion of your audience, or even individually tailored. So if you're doing Q&As, if you're doing some sort of assisted facilitation of the advice or the strategies or the techniques that you're teaching, then that's going to be content that is customized and tailored to the reader or the student in a way that your free content simply won't be. Remember as well, when it comes to your membership site, it's not just about the type of content you're providing, there's also the convenience factor to it as well. If you think about the blog articles you're creating, or the podcasts you're releasing, the YouTube videos you're doing, what have you, if you think about those as pages in a book. Now, if you told somebody they had to wander around the library and pick up all the individual pages one by one, read them individually, put them back where they were, and so on, then they probably wouldn't waste their time on it. But if you offer them a book with all of the pages combined together, then they'll pay you for that convenience. So even in situations where your content isn't necessarily massively different from the sort of free stuff you might be putting out, the simple fact that you're providing convenience, and this kind of comes down to where we see questions from people where maybe they have a course showing you how to perform a particular activity, and maybe somebody could actually just research and find out how to do that for free online. So we get asked questions of, well, why would somebody pay for this content when if they spent half an hour or an hour doing a bit of research on Google, they could find out how to do all of this stuff for free? And the answer is convenience. You're providing all of this stuff to them within one convenient location and within the context of other useful content and other useful resources, and also with a degree of access to you and with the community. So again, it's not just about the content, it's about the context that that content is presented in. So as we said, there are a lot of cases where the difference between your free content and your paid content will be very obvious. But if you are having problems, if you're still not sure, there are 5 questions that you can ask yourself to get a better handle on whether a piece of content that you've created should be free or should be paid membership content. So the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what problem does this piece of content actually solve? And how does that relate to the main problems or the core concerns that your target market are going to have? How big is the actual problem, or how important is it to your audience, to your reader, to your member, or what have you? What value does having this problem solved add to this person's life? If you are providing through your content a solution that is going to double the household income of one of your readers or one of your members, then obviously that's going to be worth far more to them than if the problem you're solving is simply how to pick out the right dress for the next business meeting. Something which, by comparison, is worlds apart. You also need to ask yourself, how comprehensive is the solution that you're providing? So again, let's use the example of doubling the income of one of your readers. Now, if that's the problem, if the problem is how do I double my household income, then that's a huge problem. That's a huge thing of value to your reader. But if the solution you're providing, if the piece of content you provided to address that problem is simply 7 tips to help you to increase your income this year, and it's an 800-word long article and it's broken down into 7 short bite-sized tips, then realistically, just that alone isn't going to get the job done. It's not actually a comprehensive solution. You're giving people a glimpse of the solution, a surface level amount of coverage. And obviously that's something that isn't really going to have direct intrinsic value to people. So of course that's something that's more appropriate for your free level content. You're teasing them with the solution that you have, and then hopefully you'd have something far more comprehensive locked away inside your membership site. You also need to ask yourself whether there's any level of exclusivity to this piece of content that you've created. If you have written the only guide to a particular technique that is available anywhere, so if you come up with something completely unique, completely exclusive to you, then again, that's a bit more impetus, a bit more motivation to have that as a paid asset rather than simply giving it away for free. And finally, how tailored is this piece of content? If you've created something that's very specifically relevant to one of your members or small group of your audience, then again, that might be something that is offered as a paid service or as a paid piece of content rather than something that you've written that's designed to appeal to the broader segment of your readers. So again, as we said at the top of this episode, there really is no right or wrong answer when it comes to determining what content you should give away for free and what content would go into your membership site. But hopefully this has given you a little bit of food for thought. And again, if you find yourself unsure, just ask yourself those questions. What problem does this solve? How big's the problem? How comprehensive is this solution I've created? And is it exclusive and is it tailored? That's going to help you get a better grip on the value that this piece of content you've created provides. And remember, as membership site owners, you're not selling content. You are not selling courses. You're not selling guides. You're not selling cheat sheets or checklists. You are selling solutions to a problem. So it's not just about content. It's about the context that content's provided with, the access people get, the support they get, the community, and all those other elements that go into a successful membership site. Hopefully that's given you some food for thought. Hopefully it's helping those of you who struggle with this idea between free content and paid content. I'll be back again very soon with another episode of the Membership Guys podcast. If you've enjoyed today's episode of the Membership Guys podcast, we invite you to check out the membersiteacademy.com. The Member Site Academy is the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a membership website. So whether you're still figuring out what your idea is going to be, or whether your website is already up and running and you're just looking for ways to grow it and attract new members, then the Member Site Academy can help you to get to the next level. With our extensive course library, monthly training, exclusive member-only discounts, perks and tools, and a supportive community to help you along the way with feedback, encouragement and advice, the Member Site Academy is the perfect place to be for anyone looking to start, manage and grow a successful membership website. So check it out at membersiteacademy.com.